Okay, so NestJS. So we are learning NestJS. It would be a day by day journey. So day one, day two, day three, and so on. And let's see, maybe after a few days, we'd go through everything, pretty much everything that NestJS offers. We'd go to the documentation and look through different resources with hand-in experience and examples, code, and everything. And of course, I would share with you the day by day documentation as well. So let's see um, how it goes. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so this is our day one. So in this uh, day, basically, we are going to learn how to install NestJS and how to run in our computer, and maybe a little bit of walk through what it is and what it is capable of. So let's see. Let's see. Okay. So if you visit nestjs.com, this is the website, and you can see the documentation. They have enterprise support, and of course, they have resources. You can see that job platforms, DevTool, Mao, probably it's their hosted service, and they have also courses. But yeah, you can take a look if you want to. I think they have pretty great courses. But let's see what we can do. Just going through the documentation. So NestJS is basically a progressive Node.js framework. So it is written in Node.js, but it has all these capabilities with really great kind of like architecture. So yeah, you can build like a scalable server-side applications with it. NestJS is extensible and versatile, progressive. These are the terms, but I think we can learn like you can build a robust system and with design patterns, uh, like a consistent folder structure that you can scale better. So let's say you have a company, and in that company you have, I don't know, maybe 100 different developers, and that's why a better architecture is always going to be crucial with that system. So if you don't have that, then I think it's like a 90% that project would be like a mess up. So yeah, we'd think NestJS would be a better option, and it can help us with different kind of functionalities, and I think we would be able to build the scalable applications with millions of users, and of course from small to large companies or even startup. This is great. So all of these things we would learn later, but for now, let's just see their landing page. So they have like this infrastructure and their hosted platform. You can, of course, build a NestJS application and host it in their using their infrastructure. They would kind of like help you with the DevOps works. So yeah, we would look into that later. And of course, their official courses. This is open source, so so yeah, that's like a plus for us. And we can see like let's run the project and let's see what it offers. Okay, so here you can see that the application, Nest application successfully started, which is great. Let me look through the folder. So if I go from bottom to up, you can see that there is a tsconfig, which is like these files are pretty much in every framework, especially Node.js or JavaScript, TypeScript applications, and you would be able to see these on the Next.js framework or Vue, Nuxt, and pretty much everywhere. Okay, this is README and package.json, and you can see that we have some commands. We would look into them later, and of course we would build from scratch, and we would uncover the problem, and we would solve the problems together. So they have like a great CLI. CLI stands for command line interface, where you can run these kind of commands that you can see right here. So it's using nest command under the hood, and they have like all these cool commands to make your life easier. They have prettier as well. Git ignore, some ESLint configurations. So let's go to the source. So on the source, you can see that there is a main.ts file, and I believe this is where the application initiates. They're calling the function bootstrap. So you can see the application. They're using Express under the hood, and the port is 3000. And I believe this is like the entry point. So you would have different modules. So let's say you have an authentication module, users module, payments module, a blogs module. So all of these features, you can call them as modules, but sometimes a feature can have multiple modules. That would depend. But here you can see that we have one module called app, and on the app module, so I can see that nothing imports, but there is one controller and one provider, which is app service. So let's go inside the controller, and on the controller you can see that we have one endpoint, which is in kind of like, you can see it's a get method. For now, let's just ignore the render. We would see that later. But I can see that it calls the service get hello, and then it returns that message. And of course, that app service is coming from this app service. You can see right here, it has this function or method. It returns hello world, as simple as that. And you can see this weird kind of at the rate, and then these are actually called decorators. So by using these decorators, you can say they have like a lot of decorators. Pretty much you would see this kind of decorators everywhere on the NestJS application. But yeah, this is this decorator injectable, means it can be injected other controllers or other classes or other piece of code, to be specific. And you can see that on the controller, on the constructor, we are injecting that. So you can see the app service, it's injected, and now I can just simply call that method. Okay, so also I can see a spec file or specification file. I would say that these are actually tests. So you can of course write tests to ensure that your application is working as expected. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about that much right now. So yeah, I mean now you can explore by visiting a Postman or any kind of API tool to test uh, this controller or this endpoint. Okay, so we would look into that later. For now, just skip it. And of course, you can see their sponsors, their gold sponsors, silver sponsors, partnerships. Yeah, they're seems like pretty famous, and it's a cool way to start your Node.js journey and build awesome backend applications or backend infrastructure. Okay, so let's go inside the documentation. The first thing I can see that they have their philosophy and of course the installation. And I would suggest you to read all of these because it doesn't make sense for me to just read these for you. But I can summarize. So NestJS framework is basically written in TypeScript. You can see that. So that means you have to have like a basic understanding of TypeScript. Otherwise, it would be a little bit difficult. I wouldn't say that much difficult, but TypeScript, if you already have TypeScript knowledge, then learning NestJS would be like a breeze. And NestJS uses, I think, two frameworks right now, Express and Fastify. So Express is like the default one, and Fastify you can configure. It's a matter of your choice or probably how you want the performance. I think Fastify is a little bit better performance wise, but Express is like battle tested and it's probably used mostly. And you can see that it inspired from Angular, I think. And they have this Nest CLI, or you can clone their starter project. But what I would do, I would install their CLI, and then probably I'm going to create a new project. Okay, so feel free to open up your editor of choice. I'm going to use my VS Code. This is what I prefer. So what I don't have anything in this folder, and I call the folder NestJS Journey. So yeah, let's first of all, what I would do, I would install the Nest CLI. Okay, so Nest CLI is this is the command actually, npm install. So I'm installing globally NestJS/CLI. So let's hit enter. It would take a little bit time depending on your internet connection, but I think I'm going to fast forward. Okay, so in the meantime, I think we can look the documentation a little bit. So you can see that you can actually clone their starter project. So there is this repo, and I believe you can also use like npx or pnpx, that kind of command if you don't want to install the Nest CLI. Okay, so seems like this is done. So what I was trying to say is you can actually do something like this. So you are using the npx without install. I mean, you are using the Nest CLI without installing globally. Okay, so let's verify whether it get installed or not. So I think I'm going to use Nest version. So make sure that you have something like this printed. It will depend when you are creating the application. For now, for me, it's 9.2.0. Okay, so I think I can run some more commands like nest help, and you can see that it printed like different kind of commands, and you can see this table to get like your overall understanding, but I wouldn't worry about all of these right now because let's just we are learning for the first time. So yeah, and seems like all of these are like a gibberish, but they have like their own responsibilities. We would learn them later. So what I want to do is I want to create a new project, which is nest new project name. So I want to call my project is NestJS Journey. Okay, so NestJS Journey. Okay, let's hit enter, and it's asking me to which package manager I would use. So I'm going to select npm for now. Okay, so the installation is in progress, so let's wait a little bit. Okay, in the meantime, let's see what we can do other stuff. To create a new TypeScript project with a stricter feature set, and you can of course pass --script strict, but for now I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I mean some other informations, but I think we are pretty much good to go at this point. Okay, so let's see the overview. Okay, you can see the first step. So we can understand a little bit what's going on behind the scene. So you can see that of course we already know NestJS is using TypeScript for pretty much everything, and also it's using Babel compiler. Okay, and if you want to know like more about Babel, you can click and learn more, but for now we would skip. And also you have to make sure that the Node.js version is 20 or greater, and we already did that. Also we ran this command. Our application name is NestJS Journey. Oh, you can see that it's thanking us for installing NestJS, and I think we have a project now. You can of course donate, but we are just learning, so let's not do that for now, but of course you are always welcome to do so. So I have this folder, NestJS Journey. Yeah, it's weird that I created this folder and then the project, but yeah, For now it's fine. So let me open this up on the, okay, so I would make sure my node version, and I'm using 22.16, and of course I have NVM installed. So if you have NVM installed in your machine, then you can just use something like this, and like 20 point something, and you can switch different Node.js versions pretty easily. Okay, so I have all these prerequisites, and I have a project now. So they're saying the folder structure would be something like that. So let's see. Okay, so let's go inside this source folder, and you can see that I have pretty much all these files that we already saw on the landing page, and I have this main.ts, and the application is running on port 3000, and I have this module. So module is like the entry point of a certain feature, and if a feature has only one module, and then you can call that as feature name.module.ts. For example, if I have authentication module, my module would be called auth.module.ts. So right now you can see that I have these modules, nothing imports, but I have one controller and one provider. Okay, so let's go inside this controller. And the controller, you can see that I have one get endpoint. So we are calling this at endpoint, and you can see that there is a method called getHello, and you can see that I have this service, and the service is injected right here. I can go to the service, and you can see that the service is injectable. This is a decorator. By using this decorator, we are allowing this class to be injected anywhere in the code. I mean, pretty much where you can be able to inject. So this method, it just returns hello world, nothing else. Let's go back to here. So how we can run this application, right? To run this application, let's go back to the documentation, and you can see that the app controller, and this is the test file, and like unit test. You can write unit test to ensure your controller is working or not, and of course your module is kind of like a feature, for example the authentication module, and you have a basic service. So basically we wouldn't write complex business logic inside the controller. Controller's job is to point out where you want to perform certain logics. Okay, it wouldn't do complex logic. It just simply select which service to use, okay, to perform certain action on that controller endpoint. Okay, and the main.ts, of course, your entry file, and you can see they're showing the main.ts. Of course, we have the main.ts for us. And yeah, sometimes one mistake we do, we declared the function, like you can see this is a bootstrap function. We declared this, but we forgot to call that. Okay, so make sure you are calling. So if this is not called, and of course my VS Code is like indicating that bootstrap is declared, but its value is never read. Okay, so yeah, just to make sure that you are calling that bootstrap function. Otherwise your application wouldn't initiate. Okay, so NestJS has two platforms. you can see that the platform Express and platform Fastify. So Express is well-known minimalistic web framework for Node, and obviously Express is pretty much everywhere. I'm pretty much sure that you definitely heard Express, and probably there are tons of YouTube tutorials you can see. So under the hood, NestJS, on NestJS we would use Express, but of course you can configure Fastify as well. It requires a little bit different setup. For now we would use this default Express one, but later maybe we would investigate the Fastify one. Once we get well familiar with the NestJS, then we would do some customizations to understand how Fastify works on NestJS application. But for now, let's use the default one. Okay, and of course you can see that the Nest factory. So you are calling this create method, and I believe we have that. So create method, and this is the app module, and the app module is basically the module that we saw, and we are passing that module, and we are getting the app, and then the app is listening on 3000 port. We would run the application, of course, and you can see that this is the command. This is the command we have to use to run the application. So let me copy that. Okay, npm run start, and you can see that starting Nest application, app module dependencies initialized, an app controller, which you can see the controller is /, and we have one get endpoint, which is this one. Nest application successfully started, and I believe we are good to go. So let me test this. To test that, I would install an extension, show extensions. So make sure you have these extensions called Thunderbolt. I think Thunderbolt, sorry, not Thunderbolt, it's a Thunder client. Okay, so make sure you install that. Okay, seems like it's installed on my machine. You can of course take a look how this works, but for now let's not worry about that. Okay, so here is my Thunderbolt client. I have already have some endpoints that I tested before, but for you I think this would be like empty, but you can of course click on these collections. You can set some environment variables specific to that, but for now let's have these collections. Okay, I'm going to create a new collection. I believe yeah, clicking here, you can click new collection. Okay, so seems like I can only create 3 collections on the free version. So let me just delete this one. I do not need that. Okay, so now let's create a collection. Test collection, or NestJS Journey. Okay, so NestJS Journey, so this is my very first collection. I can pretty interesting. I can create a new request. So let's do that like a test or first request. Okay, so this is the non-commercial version. Yeah, I mean, we are pretty fine with this. Okay, so this is our very first request, and make sure that you are making a GET call. So we have to enter the URL. So where we would get that? We would get that because once we kind of ran this command, it ran this localhost 3000. Okay, and how would you make sure? So all you have to do, just make sure that you are on the main.ts, and you can see that we are listening on port 3000. So if I go back to here and copy that and paste right here, you can see that test. I do not have to do anything, just 3000 slash, or probably if I don't do that, I think it's going to work. And yeah, just click send, and you can see that this is hello world. Awesome job. And you can see that I successfully installed Nest CLI, created a Nest project, and this is my very first endpoint, which is returning hello world. Maybe you are wondering how. That's because you can see we have this one app module, and inside the app module we have app controller, and on app controller you have these get endpoint. So get endpoint means slash, but I can, like example, I can't do that. So if I save and go back to here, so if I click on send, I think I have to, yeah, I have to rerun this command again. So let me just kill that off and run one more time, and now it's using the latest code. So let's go back here. So if I click send, you can see that this endpoint is not available. Status code is 404, not found. That's because we changed our endpoint to example, and here you can see that the status is 200, and you can see the message hello world. So that's how we changed this. Let me kind of undo that. Okay, let me just remove it entirely, and now go back to there and click send. It's still working because we have to run that again. So to resolve that, we can actually run this command in watch mode. So that means whenever we would change something on the code, it would automatically rerun. To do that, you can see there is a new command, which is npm run start Dave. So let me just copy that and paste right here. So now you can see that starting application in watch mode. So there are no errors. So I think we are pretty good to go. So now if I click on it, and of course you can see that I do not have this example, but if I do that like example and save, so if I save, you can see that it reran. File change detected, starting incremental compilation. So it compiled. So now if I go back to here and click send, and you can see that it works. Perfect. So what we can do now, I think we are on this so yeah, I mean, you can take a look into the linting and formatting. CLI provides best effort to Scaffold reliable development workflow. So you can see that it has ESLint and prettier. So let's see if we have that. And here you can see this. It has this ESLint RC, and you can see that prettier RC. So we are using single quote with a trailing comma. So both of these are installed by default. So let's go back to here and let's see what it is saying for us. So we can actually run this command npm run lint. Let's do that. I think I would kill the server for now. Npm run lint. So if I do that, and of course this is like a brand new application, we don't have any linting issues, but we can actually run this format command as well. So this would run the prettier and format pretty much everything, and you can see that it ran the files from the source and tests. And of course you can check the package.json, and you can see that this is the format, and then prettier in a write mode. So inside the source directory, anything that has .ts file and test. So that means you can configure this and add your own blah 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 configuration here. Okay, for now we wouldn't do that. And where this lint command, so you can see this lint command, and the lint command is also running source apps libs test, that kind of folder that has .ts extension. And it actually already has fix. So whenever you run this lint command, it would try to fix automatically if it can. If it doesn't, then it would show some errors for you. And of course we already saw this command start. So this would just start the application, not in watch mode, by the way. To run the application in watch mode, you have to append this :dev. So start dev, it would run the application in watch mode. You can see --watch. You can of course run the application in debug mode as well, and there is a production build. But for now, I think format start dev lint, I believe these commands we would use pretty frequently. Okay, so yeah, this is our very first step in NestJS journey. So yeah, we learned quite a few things. We understood how NestJS works, the fundamentals, and of course we installed the CLI. We ran an application on our machine, and we tested with our very first endpoint and some commands, of course. And I believe we are in a good spot. So I would wrap up this video, and let's see, on our day 2 we would take a look into the controllers, providers, and all of these, like really basic way, and then we would dive deeper into the fundamentals later on. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and see you on my next video. That means day 2.